Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here today to the Brickyard 400 on NASCAR Thunder 2004. We are about to get set for action in just our second crown jewel event of the season. Jackson Thomas, Kyle Button, welcome to the stream. Can't believe Chase only about wins the... Chase Elliott, congratulations to him, and really Austin Cindric as well. As having a brain fart here. Sheldon Creed winning the championships this weekend in the top 3 NASCAR preliminary series. But yes, we are about to get into this one here today. Late stream tonight, we had to get the championship race in. I had to get something to eat after the race was over, and then I had to do the post-race analysis video. That is already uploaded. That is on the channel. My thoughts, opinions on the race, how it went down, both from the championship perspective and the race perspective. But here tonight, we're going to start from the rear of the field, the Brickyard 400. This is going to be a little bit later of a night, though. Sorry for the late upload, but again, I only had time after the race here today. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream as well. Tyler Burbeck. But about to get things going here today, starting from the rear of the field, just the 8th race of the season. We'll go into the stories over the course of this said race.
Welcome to MRN's live coverage from the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway for today's Brickyard 400. You can just feel the excitement all around for this race.
Well, every little boy has a dream of one day racing here in Indy. What an exciting experience for the rookies who are getting to do it for the first time.
Jerry Nadeau is one of those guys who you just keep expecting to break out and have a good year.
Yeah, you do, but he's got a ton of talent and some good equipment. He's shown he can win and run up front. Now he's just got to string some success together and gain some confidence out there.
Steve Park has had some tough breaks during his still young Winston Cup career. He missed a bunch of races in both 98 and 2001 due to injury.
Yes, and unfortunately those injuries cost him a shot at Rookie of the Year and his first top 10 points finish. But he's back now and as good as ever.
Greg Biffle will try to use this race to gain a couple spots in the points.
You know, all these guys are very happy with their top 10 season so far. Hopefully they can mount a charge that will pick them up some more points on the leaders.
Getting set for today's Brickyard 400. We'll take you through the starting lineup and today's key stories going into the race tonight. On the front row, we've got Dale Jr. starting on the pole for today's race. Hometown hero Tony Stewart outside pole in second. Tony Stewart just climbed into the top 5 of the point standings as well coming into today's race. Elliott Sadler, Kenny Wallace will make up row 2. Kenny Wallace has had a string of great qualifying efforts. And into this race today, it continues. Ricky Rudd coming off a win at Watkins Glen and now taking over the new points lead in the early go of the season. Starts inside row 3. Matt Kenseth outside of him. Jeff Burton on the outside row 4, but Mark Martin on the inside row 4 with 1 win this year. Jimmy Johnson, Robbie Gordon will round out the top 10 for today's race. Back at row number 6, we've got Joe Nemechek and Kurt Busch. Mike Skinner, Ricky Craven back at row number 7. Jamie McMurray, rookie. Best qualifying effort he's had this season, 15th. Jeremy Mayfield outside of him in 16th. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, row 9 for Gordon. He's got 1 win this season, and he has won this race in the past. Jerry Nadeau, Bobby Labonte back in row number 10. And in row 11, we've got Sterling Marlin, Steve Park. Johnny Benson, Dale Jarrett sitting in row 12. Top 8 come into this race with a chance to possibly take the points lead. Dale Jarrett is the 8th of those drivers in points. Brett Bodine, Hermie Sadler will sit back in row 13 for the start of today's race. Christian Fittipaldi, Casey Mears back in row 14. In row 15, we've got Ken Schrader and Michael Waltrip. Michael Waltrip had a pretty good run a couple races ago at Vegas. Was running top 5 all day. We'll see if he has a good run here today. Bill Elliott, Kyle Petty will make up row 16 for today's race.
Row 17 has
Jack Sprague and Kevin Harvick will be in row 17. Harvick, Daytona 500 winner, still sitting top 10 in the point standings. Stanton Barrett, Chase Montgomery will be back in row 18, couple of rookies there. In row number 19 for today's race, we've got Ashton Lewis, Kevin LePage, another rookie on the inside of the row. Ryan Newman, Jeff Green will make the start back in row 20. Newman, another Indiana Hoosier, but he will be back at the rear. Comes into this race second in points. Lost the points lead after Ricky Rudd went to victory lane at Watkins Glen. Ward Burton, Terry Labonte in row 21. And last but not least, a driver who has won already 4 times this season. Bad luck coming off a DNF at Watkins Glen, sitting 6th in the point standings, Greg Biffle. Called 48, welcome to the stream. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. 400 miles, 160 laps for today's race. The green flag is in the air for the Brickyard 400. Biffle wants a bounce-back performance in this race after a tough go at Watkins Glen. Not a good initial start here, laying back. Oh, big checkup off of turn 2 for these guys towards the back. Biffle had a huge run off of turn 2, gains a couple positions. On the brakes early. Big loose moment there. Was kind of checking up early just to make sure there wasn't going to be a checkup like there was coming off of turn 2. Greg Biffle looking for the draft off of Stanton Barrett now down the back straightaway, already 1 lap into this race. Going to see some fast speeds here today. 2:03 going into turn number 3 for the 16 of Biffle. It's going to take him 10 to 20 laps to start running consistently good lap times here in this one. But a lot of the field here towards the back still running side by side. Biffle all the way to the inside here. Down the front stretch, crossing the Art of Bricks, underneath Ashton Lewis going into turn 1. Stanton Barrett almost made contact with the car in front of him. It's so hard to run side by side through these tight, flat, 9 degrees of banking corners. One of the tougher racetracks in NASCAR to make a pass on. Stanton Barrett trying to block Greg Biffle. Biffle all the way to his inside and almost in the grass, trying to get underneath Barrett, who made a big-time block. 3 wide off into turn 3 now. Risky move from Biffle. And now we'll contact just up ahead, believe, between Casey Mears and Chase Montgomery. Some heavier contact behind them. Biffle and Barrett get together in turn 4. We stay green, we keep going. Biffle now trying to block Terry Labonte down the front stretch. Oh, man! Be racing a little too aggressive in the opening laps of the race. But Biffle wants to get going as quickly as he possibly can. Jeff Green's been all over the back of the 16 of Biffle. Last couple laps, Labonte got around him for a quick moment, but Green was able to get right back around Labonte the following lap. Biffle's been pretty good in the 400-mile races this season. A win at Las Vegas and Michigan in a couple 400-mile races. Trying to do the same today. First Crown Jewel event of the year was the Daytona 500 that kick-started the season. He finished runner-up in second, so trying to get that first Crown Jewel victory of his career. 3 wide to the inside, just underneath of the 27 of Montgomery. He outbreaks him going into turn 3. Bold 3 wide maneuver. That time it worked out perfectly. Very exciting start to the day today. Christian Fittipaldi kind of letting the 16 of Biffle go into turn 1. Biffle in the wall. Maybe got back to the gas a little too soon. Jeff Green almost got underneath him. He got around Fittipaldi as well. That was definitely a little mistake there from Biffle. Oh, man. A little scuff off of turn 1. That's second lap in a row. Biffle's gotten in the wall off of the short shoot, or I should say in the short shoot. Turns 1 and 2. And a draft off of Jack Sprague, enough at least to get to the inside of the 0-2 of Hermie Sadler. Man, that 16 car looks really loose, more so in turn 3 than any other corner on the racetrack. They'll still get around Hermie Sadler cleanly, though, that time. Brett Bodine looking to pass Jack Sprague. Biffle to the inside of Bodine now. Starting to work his way through the field slowly but surely. 3 wide again down the back straightaway. And they're going to be side by side by the time they go into turn 3. Biffle tries to outbrake Mike Skinner, and he does. So now into the top 30. Pretty good start to the race today. Remember, Biffle DNF back at Watkins Glen the last race, but most importantly, it was the last place finish. Only went 4 laps into the race before getting involved in an accident. Dropped him from second in the point standings back to 6th. Still within 1 race of the lead. He's about 138 points back. Ryan Newman, who went in as the points leader, finished 28th, did not have a good day. And with Ricky Rudd getting the win, all of a sudden Ricky Rudd is now the points leader. That's coincidental there, Ace. But hey, welcome to the stream, by the way. Steve Park missed the bottom. Oh, man. Really tight through turn 4. Biffle just couldn't quite stay underneath him. Tried to get to the inside of Park. Couldn't do it. Oh, 3 wide contact in the wall. Kenny Wallace. 3 wide and tight off of turn 1. Wallace got into the wall and bounced right back into Steve Park. We stay green. That was a narrow exit to the corner. Right into the short chute. And another instance where 3 wide did not work out. That was probably the worst of the instances so far. Biffle gets by cleanly on the bottom. And how about Kenny Wallace, qualified 4th, already outside the top 30. And loses even more time this lap with that incident. Seen fuel mileage races here at Indy. Will we see one here today? I'm not sure exactly how far we can go on a full tank of fuel until this race gets further on in, and the closer we get to the end of an actual fuel run, we'll be able to tell exactly how far we can go. Again, with this game, still kind of in the learning basis of track by track, I guess, analysis as we go through it. It's a different experience every time we go to a new track this year. How far can we go on a full run of fuel? What is the racing like? Where are the passing zones around the track? Canadian Bacon, welcome to the stream. Biffle waiting patiently behind Jeremy Mayfield. Before he tries to make the move on Kyle Petty, waits for Mayfield to get around the 45 of Petty. Biffle then strikes going into turn 2. And he'll clear him. Trying to look to the inside. Mayfield, meanwhile, trying to look underneath his teammate, Bill Elliott. Biffle couldn't get the run. Ooh, Petty with a big run on the outside into turn 3. Biffle got out of the gas really early there. He wants to follow Mayfield on by Bill Elliott. Barely clears him off of turn 4 and barely keeps it off the wall. All the way to the bottom to get underneath Jeremy Mayfield down the front straightaway. It's a big hiccup, though, for Biffle, and he wasn't able to make the move. Now into turn 2, he looks low again. Barely clears him off of turn 2. He's got it. No, for sure, yeah. Credit to Chase Elliott. He did what he had to do to win the championship. He deserved it tonight. He had the best drive, the best car at the end of the race tonight. He earned it. It was more the heat of the moment. And what I said in the video, by the way, too, that was before I'd even seen a tweet about the penalty. You know, and the rule that went with it. Or, yeah, the tweet about the rule with the non-call of the penalty Bob Parker sent out. I didn't see that until after the video uploaded, so that's why in the comment section below I kind of like retracted a little bit of my statement. Should it have been a penalty? I still think it was up for debate at the time. I'm not going to debate it to this point in time because I still don't think the Jackman reset himself. Like they say you can go back and reset yourself, but he put his foot on the wall and then just went back to work. Like he didn't actually like go on top of the wall or behind the wall like you would have before the pit stop started. That's the only reason I still think it should have been called, but I'm not going to, you know, go out of my way to say that Chase Elliott doesn't deserve the championship because of that, because in the heat of the moment, you know, I thought it was obviously a penalty. Still think it's a penalty, but no, that doesn't justify what he did tonight, for sure. Drove the wheels off that thing. Alright, 15 laps into this race. Biffle's working his way through the field. He's still got a long ways to go. He's 6.3 seconds off the lead, but a lot of cars still to pass. We've seen how tough it is to pass at Indianapolis. And it's only going to be like that further and further into the run as these tires get older and older. That's why you got to take advantage of the restarts if we do have any in this race. It's been hit or miss. We either seem to have a lot of cautions in a race or we seem to have very few cautions in a race. Never any races where it's been an okay amount. It's either been a lot or a little. So we'll see how this one will go. Jerry Nadeau trying to get by Ricky Craven meanwhile, and Biffle trying to get a pole off of a couple of these guys, looking low underneath Nadeau perhaps. Going into turn number 3, he is already on his inside. Nadeau didn't give him a lot of room. He tried to pinch him. Little contact. Dangerous situation of the racetrack. And now Craven with a block into turn 4 on Biffle. I think Nadeau might have gotten the wall back there. Biffle just to the inside of Craven. Ricky was trying to protect that position as much as he could, but he couldn't hold on for much longer. Drops it back to 23rd. .204 that time going into turn 3. Highest speed we've seen out of Biffle so far in the race today. Now he's underneath of Joe Nemechek into turn 4. Ward Burton trying to make a pass on Robbie Gordon. Meanwhile, works to his inside. Biffle looking all the way to the bottom. Ward Burton trying to pull a block perhaps. Oh, all the way near the wall. Hard crash. Jeff Gordon is involved. He blew an engine on the bottom. Biffle ran right into him. Ward Burton goes around. Huge crash down the front stretch at Indy. Oh my goodness. Heavy damage down to the 16 of Biffle. It came up so quick. As they race back to the caution flag on lap 19. A heavy crash down the front stretch on a very narrow portion of the racetrack. Gordon had blown an engine. He was slow on the inside. And they were 3 wide with nowhere to go. One of the more vicious crashes we've seen in the early going of the season. And look at that demolished race car on the 16 of Biffle. I mean, there was nowhere to go. Biffle saw him at the last second. Gordon is done for the day. Wow. I'm surprised Biffle's still in the race. I mean, he had to have been going less than 100 miles an hour at impact. And heavy damage for the 16. He's going to have to bring that car to pit road. See if anybody else will come on down to pit road this time. It looks like Biffle's the only one, at least the first driver to hit the pits. That was a vicious accident. Again, 3 wide. Biffle was trying to make the move to the inside of Ward Burton. He was there. There was a car to the outside of both of them. Not sure who it was at the time, but they were 3 wide. And when Gordon was there, there was no room for Biffle to get out of the way. He tried. Got into Ward Burton, but just not enough time for him to get out of the way. I mean, we are very fortunate to still having a race going at this point. But that had to have knocked a lot of speed out of the 16 car. And we don't even know his potential of how fast he was because he was only up to about 20th. Yeah, there's no damage clock for this game because it's a lot easier to DNF. So I'll repair damage at any given time I give myself a chance to. So after that hard accident, we'll have to see if we might get any debris cautions going forward. And all the track position is now lost for the 16 of Biffle. Man. Now he's got fresh tires, but this is going to put him off strategy. This is a very, very interesting moment. That's probably got to be the hardest crash I think we've seen outside of the Kenny Wallace accident we've already seen this season back at Texas, the 3rd race. I mean, it was that vicious. Gordon already looked to have blown an engine and was likely going to be done anyway, but there was nowhere for him to go. He missed pit road. And there's no apron on the front straightaway here with that pit wall right there. There was just absolutely zero place to go. That was a tough break. It's amazing how quick that happened. Went from just hard 3-wide racing to there's a smoking car right there. Oh man, Casey Mears in the wall off of turn 2. He got really tight, washed up the racetrack. He loses a lot of ground there. Now the 3-wide down the back. Biffle trying to use advantage of the 4 tires. Outbreaks Stanton Barrett. Just sends it into turn 3. What a move. Now the short shoot into turn 4. A little contact with Fittipaldi. Wasn't clean, but he got the job done there. And now 3-wide down the front stretch. How hard it is to pass at this track, but Greg Biffle making the ground on the 4 fresh tires. That's the advantage he has right now. Very fortunate to make it through the accident. And still be in the race. He's going to have to take care of that car the rest of the night now. This could get tight going down into turn 1 now. They are 3 wide. Nobody's giving an inch. Oh, still 3 wide, but somehow there's no contact. Biffle underneath of both Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield. Biffle all clear. Now underneath of Jeff Green into turn 2. What a move as a 16 car trying to get through the field on the 4 fresh Goodyears. Crazy start to the race today at Indy. Biffle's just going to have to keep repairing that damage every single time he comes to pit road from here on out. Time like he's been most of the season. Biffle gets under him pretty easily. Ricky Craven giving Biffle a lot of room. I think they noticed how fresh of tires Greg Biffle's got, and that's why he's coming through the field. Spotters, crew chiefs telling them to let him go, perhaps. Biffle can't afford a DNF. After DNFing at Watkins Glen and falling from 2nd to 6th in the point standings. Biffle underneath of Harvick. Jeff Burton on the outside, his teammate. Can't get back down to the bottom. He had Ward Burton under him for a quick moment there. Biffle all the way to the bottom now down the front straightaway. He was with Ward Burton right before the caution. Biffle flat in the corner. Actually got into the back of Waltrip slightly, moved him out of the way. And Biffle is a man on a mission right now. Underneath Ryan Newman. Can't say that these fresh tires aren't playing huge dividends. As he looks underneath Elliott Sadler, he is there. 3 wide and tight into turn 3, using the curbing, and he still works his way around both Bobby Labonte. Elliott Sadler, the 10 of Johnny Benson, kind of scraped the wall in the short shoot. Oh, he clips Biffle off of turn 4. I don't know if he got loose again. Big block by Dale Jarrett. Biffle gets under him into turn 1 anyway. And now into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Searching to get to the front and maybe a chance at 5 bonus points. Mark Martin. Biffle's going to be patient this time. Maybe just looking to follow Rusty Wallace passing Mark Martin. Martin almost got in the wall in the short shoot there. 3 wide to the bottom. Biffle did get underneath Rusty and clears him off of turn 4 now. Points leader Ricky Rudd in 6th in the early going of the race. Rudd is just absolutely blocking Greg Biffle. Biffle goes high, trying to get the draft off Matt Kenseth, and that's going to allow him to get by Ricky Rudd really easily. Rudd just had no match with Biffle on the fresh tires. He was going to get around him eventually. Biffle underneath Kenseth now. Into turn 4, and then into the top 5 for the first time today. Right behind Tony Stewart. Stewart behind Johnson. Tony throwing some blocks here. Biffle already underneath him. Up to 4th. Oh, Jimmy kind of pinching Biffle off into turn 4. Biffle already there. Side by side. What a run. Kurt Busch trying to hold off his teammate now. Oh, little contact. Biffle going to drive it in deep into turn 3 underneath his teammate. Oh, man. Not clean at all. Treacherous position in the center of turn 3. But Dale Jr., who doesn't have a huge lead over Kurt Busch to begin with, now has Greg Biffle on the fresh tires, stalking him from behind off of turn 4. Biffle to the inside. Jr. with a block. Oh, man. Right into the back of him. Couldn't get around him there. Maybe to the inside into turn 2. Who's going to win the race back to the gas? Biffle on the inside. Jr. on the outside. So they're side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Jr. trying to hold him off. Biffle got a little loose. Turn 3 still underneath him. Jr. bobbled a little bit. Oh, more contact. And Jr. holds on. Jr. left the bottom open. Closed it at the center of the corner, hangs on. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson's been side by side for about a half a lap with Kurt Busch. Again, Jr. tries to leave the bottom open, maybe arcing the corner off. Biffle to the inside again. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Biffle does have the advantage into turn 3 on the bottom, and more contact. Biffle not trying to make that contact with Dale Jr., but he just cannot get around him. Jimmy Johnson stalking. Jr. almost got the wall off of turn 4. At the line, Jr. beats him, and Biffle still trying to lead his first lap of the race side by side into turn 1. Finally, Biffle clears him. Almost got the wall. Johnson now looking underneath the 8 of Jr. Fresh tire advantage for Greg Biffle has put himself to the lead for the first time today. Try to get 5 bonus points at the start-finish line this time by. 1 caution back at lap 19. That was for Jeff Gordon blowing an engine. Biffle ran right into the back of him after he blew it down the front stretch. Ward Burt was also involved in that accident. But outside of that, Biffle to the front gets the 5 bonus points now for leading a lap. Trying to take this advantage with the 4 fresh tires. But now that he's climbed to the lead with this tire advantage, decision to maybe pit at the same time as everybody else is definitely up for a possible scenario. So that way he can hopefully cycle back into the lead after that. Because if he chooses not to pit, he's going to lose a lot of track position with those guys having fresh tires for about 20 laps before Biffle would come to pit road. Eventually, obviously, that would be if we stayed green that long. So Biffle doesn't want to lose the track position again. He's back in the lead. He can maybe take the strategy game. Stay out in front. He's collected 5 bonus points now, too. So now that he's gotten to the lead and led a lap, that'll maybe help him try to stay on the same strategy as Jimmy Johnson runs in second place. Maybe going to see Johnson pit right around lap 40. I mean, look at that. He's almost at that 3-second lead already. Wow, big loose moment into turn 1. Car just seemed to turn automatically there. He's got the same laps on his tires now, just about, compared to what he had at the timing of the caution. Driving it off into turn 3. Oh, he had to lift big time there. Otherwise, he was not going to make the exit to turn number 4. First and only trip here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on this season, another 2.5-mile racetrack. For those of you watching right now, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, ask that you should subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We got these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast for NASCAR video games on the daily. As I've started my young broadcasting career, help me out on that journey to one day hopefully be in the booth of a real NASCAR race. Want to start it, get the name out there. Got to start somewhere. That's the way of starting, and I appreciate the support that all of you guys give me on a daily basis. Just simply watching the streams, commenting, liking, and most importantly subscribing helps me out a ton. So there are cars on pit road currently, as we speak. And even though the NASCAR season, by the way, obviously ended today, we will still do this throughout the off-season. Of course, when the channel was started, technically last year, I didn't start doing daily streams until this season started, but I will continue to do daily streams. Heck, I'll have more time on my hands now that the season's over, so that'll be pretty cool. Greg Biffle will be hitting pit road this time by. These guys short pitting on him. He doesn't want to give these guys too much of an advantage. So Biffle will make his first green flag pit stop of the day this time by. Thanks for that, Andrew. See Ryan Newman starting to catch Biffle pretty quickly here, so how much the fresh tires pay off. Saw how quickly Biffle on 20-lap fresher tires is able to get through the field. Has to drop it down to 70 miles an hour onto pit road. Easily gets down in time. So 4 fresh tires. Time to work on the damage a little bit more from that first caution of the day. So here we go. Coming back out onto the racetrack now. Things have not completely cycled through. We've got drivers trying to stay out. You see Biffle on that access road through turn 1. Now coming back out onto the racetrack. A lot of clean room to run. Give him the grip back in that race car. Really late to the braking zone there in turn 3. Kind of slid the tires a little bit. Still getting up to speed there. Thought he could maybe carry a little bit more momentum. Again, one of the faster racetracks on the circuit, one of the bigger ones, 2.5 miles in length. And definitely still have some interesting races to go over the course of the season. We're getting closer to our All-Star race, by the way. I'm not sure exactly when I want to have it. I've got the Coke 600 on here at race 18 on the season, so right about the halfway mark. So I don't know if I want to do the All-Star race before that, because obviously be at Charlotte. It's kind of my pick because you can't have the All-Star race on the season mode itself or the custom schedule to put it in. So I will do it on the race now mode to get the All-Star race in. So I don't know if I want to wait until then or wait until after race like 13 or 14 and have it a little bit earlier. So if we do it at about race 13 or 14, we'll actually have the All-Star race in about anywhere between 3 to 4 or 5 more, anywhere between 3 to 5 more races we'll be looking at. Otherwise, we got about 10 races to go until it. We've already won, so I guess I could technically say we've locked ourselves into the All-Star race. So I guess at that point I could kind of have it whenever. So Biffle will cycle into the lead going into turn 1 here. Officially, it'll be a lead change at the start-finish line. Jimmy Johnson is running Biffle down on the short run. He was about 4 seconds or so off the lead when they had pit. I think Johnson pitted a lap or 2 before Biffle. He was able to gain a little bit of time. Biffle trying to break the draft down the back straightaway perhaps, but Jimmy Johnson is really, really starting to reel him in. Jimmy, at this point in time, didn't win a Brickyard 400, but he won 4 of them throughout his long and illustrious career. Oh, man! Really tight there off of turn number 1, and Johnson is chopping at the bit of Biffle. Biffle may be trying to pull the block, but Johnson is already there. Down to the inside, almost into the grass, down the back straightaway. Biffle holds on to the lead. Making this car wide, trying to hang on to it. Jimmy, I don't think, has led a lap yet, so he's searching for 5 bonus points. Looks to the inside of Biffle in turn 4. He is there. They hold the corner side by side now down the front stretch. Johnson's going to lead the lap at the line, and he is going to clear Biffle into turn 1. Now Biffle trying to hang with him. A little mistake a couple laps ago off of turn 1 gave him a lot better opportunity. How wide is Johnson going to make his car? Look at him going to the inside, trying to break the draft. Biffle down there to follow him. Oh, hard into the braking zone there into turn 3. Johnson had a lower angle into the corner, so he couldn't take the corner in as deep or as hard as he wanted to. Yeah, I always care about you guys in the chat for sure. Try to communicate as much as I can while keeping the broadcast and trying to pay attention to the race going on during the course of the streams. But yeah, I appreciate it. It's always cool to see like other people's perspectives of NASCAR, because where I grew up, outside of my grandparents to go to watch it there, like my parents, for instance, they don't really know a whole lot about the sport in general outside of, me taking them to their first race at Michigan a couple of years ago, when I started going more often when I could actually drive myself. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to, want to go, I can go whenever I want now. So, and then my dad's just went with me to the Southern 500 this year in Darlington too. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't really like talk NASCAR with them. I don't really have any friends outside of who I've gotten to watch the sport. I actually watched with one of my friends today, the championship race. He's gone to a couple races. You guys saw him in the Bristol vlog video for the All-Star race this year. He went there too. So, I get him to come along, but like, still, like, I don't know anybody on a personal level that has grown up with the sport, being one of their favorites, if not their, number one favorite like mine. So I can't really like talk about it in person to a lot of people. So I definitely love to communicate with you guys in the chat, pretty much on basis with questions like that, because I really do, like to just talk NASCAR. And I don't get that opportunity outside of the channel. Yes, okay, welcome to the stream. Ohio is an underrated racing state. Well, see, for NASCAR, yes. I should say not for NASCAR. They haven't produced a lot of NASCAR drivers. I actually have a unique video I've been working on that. But anyway, they don't have a wide range of drivers. There's actually only 3 drivers in NASCAR history, I know this as a fact, that have won a Cup Series race that were born in the state of Ohio. So there is not many, drivers from Ohio that have actually made it in NASCAR. But we are huge with like sprint car racing. There's a ton of tracks in Northwest Ohio that the World of Outlaw race at. Lima Land, Eldora. Well, Eldora is a little more south of where I live, a couple hours, but still, on that eastern Ohio side of things. Of course, Toledo Speedway with the ARCA series. Races there, Fremont, Attica Raceway Park. Dirt racing is huge in Ohio. It is huge. It's just stock car racing, on the other hand. I wish we had a cup race, but it's not the case. Yeah, Ryan Blaney is one. Hartford, Ohio. Him and all the Blaneys are there. Dave. His uncle Dale, all from Hartford. He doesn't live there anymore, though. He lives in Charlotte, but yeah, he was born in Ohio. Well, yeah, Mid-Ohio is obviously in Ohio. It's near Columbus. It's about 2 hours south of where I live, but it doesn't host a cup race. I've actually never been there. I'm looking forward to going there next year for the Xfinity race. I'd love to go there. If the Cup Series race there, I'd be there every year for sure. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people around here care more about, dirt racing. Johnson's held on to the lead for a while. He's making it tough for Biffle to try and get around him. Biffle's got his closest opportunity yet. He is all over the back bumper of Johnson off of turn 4. Jimmy blocking it all the way down the front stretch. High, low. Johnson holds on to the lead. Oh, man, Biffle tried to cut under him, but he couldn't hold the speed going into turn 1, and he loses a little bit of ground. Not a lot of passing and back and forth going on here, but these guys are putting on a show at the front of the field. Just over 50 laps into the race. Yeah, I think Road America is a better road course. It's a lot longer. Mid-Ohio. Mid-Ohio is like barely over 2 miles in length, I believe, and Road America is 4-mile road course, so it's very different. A lot higher speed, too. Oh, my goodness, look at this. It's a lot more narrow down the front straightaway, as we've already seen here today. Biffle trying to make the move into turn 1 to the inside of Jimmy Johnson. They are racing hard. Biffle has finally gotten under him and clears him off of turn 2. And now Johnson's going to have to go right back at him if he's going to want to get the spot. Biffle already breaking the draft on the bottom of the track. He wants to make Jimmy pass him high. Biffle kind of missed the entry to turn 3. Johnson trying to get back under him again. Not quite going to do it that time. Biffle might have a longer run car. We'll have to see. Jimmy already looking low. Biffle not looking to block down the front straightaway this time. Hits his marks perfectly going into turn 1. Jimmy couldn't make a move. He didn't have enough of a run or momentum at all off of turn 4. I know, I wish NASCAR Heat had the AI as smart as what they are in this game. They block aggressively in this game, let me tell you. The 43rd place car that can be like 5 laps down blocks like crazy, just like you saw Johnson blocking for the lead there. It's on rare, or I should say not rare, but random occasions on who does and who doesn't per race. It's not the same driver from race to race. Can be, but it doesn't matter whether they're an ally or a rival either. Really hard racing. So difficult. Makes it a lot more intense. Yeah, Road America is one of the tracks I've got circled to possibly go to next year, too. It's actually, I want to say it would be the 3rd closest track to where I live. Cup Series-wise. Obviously, Michigan's still the home track. But since I got rid of Kentucky, which was actually the 2nd closest track to me, Indianapolis, Chicagoland were right, they were basically 3rd, 4th. You could have traded back and forth. They were both about 4 hours from where I live. And Chicagoland's gone, at least next year. We don't know what the likelihood of that track is. I might have very well seen the last race at Chicagoland, so I'm glad I got to see at least one race there back in 2019. Glad I got to go to that. It was a good race. Sat out a long rain delay, but it was worth it. And then went to Indy in 2018, but I'm willing to go back again next year for the road course for sure. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, Road America, I think it's about 6 hours from where I live. So honestly, compared to a lot of the other racetracks I've been to that have been 8, 9, 10 hours away consistently over the last couple of years, that'll actually be kind of nice going to a track within 6 hours. Maybe a one-night hotel stay instead of 2. Make it worth the trip. Give me an opportunity to go to more racetracks beyond that because I'm only staying one night, saving half as much money. But now we got lap cars side by side right in front of Biffle. This is going to be tough. Oh, contact. Chase Montgomery, Greg Biffle, Jack Sprague still in the way. Biffle trying to work around. And look at Sprague trying to block and hold on to the lead lap. Contact back up the track now. Chase Montgomery was there, and now Montgomery fights back to the inside of Biffle. This lap car's not making it easy here for the Biff. Into turn 4, Sprague runs him down the track again. And here comes Johnson. Biffle still has the lead, but Johnson is right on his back bumper. Junior within a half a second again. Sprague was blocking for his life to try and stay on the lead lap and maybe hope for a caution. And right when Biffle was starting to pull away, we've got 4 cars under a blanket battling for the lead. I think NASCAR could go back to Kentucky. I mean, it's not impossible. And even if it's not with the Cup Series, they had a long history there with the Xfinity Series. Which actually makes me wonder why they didn't, have the Xfinity Series go back. Sprague again blocking Biffle. The Biffle's got to go. He's got Johnson right behind him. So he works underneath Montgomery again. Now he got around Montgomery the first time. Sprague is blocking it up right now. There's just nowhere for Biffle to go. Oh man, 3 wide. Up the middle goes Biffle between the 27 and the 0. This is going to get tight into turn 3. Tries to outbrake him. Contact with the 27. Johnson in the lead. Jimmy Johnson, and he's going to get underneath Sprague as well. Oh, and in the wall. Off of turn 4 goes Biffle. Biffle cannot get around Jack Sprague. Finally to the inside again into turn 1. Johnson back in front here at Indy. Biffle struggled mightily to get around Sprague and Montgomery, and it allows Johnson to get to the lead. I feel like IndyCar could put a good show on at Kentucky. Flatter racetracks. I feel like kind of run a lot better for Indianapolis. Johnson looking to block. Man, there is so much blocking going on in this race today. Let me tell you. Biffle backs out, going into turn 1. Beats Johnson back to the gas now, into the short chute. Trying to get under him going into turn 2. Biffle is there. Couldn't clear Johnson with the contact. Jimmy actually kept the momentum a lot better than Biffle. And he clears him. Going back into turn 3. Biffle again to the inside. Going into turn 4 though. Oh man, they door checked each other. Johnson was coming low as Biffle was coming high. Again, on accident. Just so hard to pass. These guys have been racing aggressively since the drop of the green flag today. Biffle lost a little ground there. Got into the wall off of turn 1. Aiden Roland, welcome to the stream. Oh, an intense battle for the lead continues. Johnson, another block. Biffle trying to angle the corner into turn 3. Maybe get under him into the short chute. He is there going into turn 4. Will they make contact again? Oh my goodness, they did. Johnson washes up the track. Junior now to second place. Biffle gets loose off of turn 4. And Junior leads the lap at the line, just blows by Biffle on the outside. Johnson fell back to 4th, but he's still in contention. Another mistake by Biffle off of turn 1. Almost got to the outside of his teammate, too. Kenseth did. Johnson back to the inside of Kenseth. Tried to. Kenseth with the block. Biffle really loose going off into turn 3. Those tires are wearing out. And that is not helping Biffle either. Kenseth not giving him a lot of room. Biffle up the track. Loses a couple spots. And now Kurt Busch is in the picture all of a sudden. And Junior's driving away. Johnson just trying to block the 16 of Biffle. Again. Gotta be irritating the 16. Knowing he is faster than these guys. Just doesn't have the grip in the tires. Back underneath the 48 again. But he can't keep the momentum down. He keeps getting pinched. Again to the bottom of the track, looking for the lead. Johnson with another block. Biffle crosses him over into turn 1 now. More lap traffic, not too far ahead of Junior, by the way. Biffle back up to 3rd as he gets around Johnson. Big move underneath Kenseth now into turn 2. Has the momentum down the back straightaway. Hasn't cleared the 17 yet, though. And Kenseth's going to let him go into turn 3. Big slide by the 16, too. So back up to 2nd. Oh, Kenseth's in the wall off of turn 3. Kenseth got in the wall. Johnson and Busch had to check up. Pressure off of Biffle now to try and run down the 8 of Earnhardt. Less than 100 to go already in the race. One caution to this point, back at lap 19. And now Junior's being held up in lap traffic. That is side by side right in front of him. Now he makes his move to the bottom. Biffle's already starting to close that gap. Yeah, thoughts on Elliott winning the championship? Yeah, most of my thoughts were in the post-race analysis video, but I'll briefly again explain it. I mean, he had the fastest car. It's big for the sport, obviously, the most popular driver winning the championship. I mean, it's one of those seasons that this is the kind of season, obviously outside of COVID and the whole fan regulations for most of the races and stuff and the limited crowds. You know, outside of that, but the actual on-track racing product is pretty much throughout the course of the season, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows with the package, with everything else, is basically going to be NASCAR in a nutshell over the next 10 years at least. That's what I'm thinking with the next-gen car. Things might change with the mile and a halves, but as far as the short track super speedways, and for the most part with the lower horsepower fact of it, of the intermediates, this is what you're going to see with NASCAR. So seeing Chase Elliott win the title today and seeing that he's a fan favorite could definitely be a lot more engaging for non-fans of the sport now that are looking to become fans of the sport. Junior all over the back of the 8. Trying to look underneath him through turn 1. Barely got there. Junior tried to pinch him off, but Biffle's still there. Drives it off hard. Into turn 3. Biffle back to the lead again. Look at Stanton Barrett trying to perhaps pull a block. And he is just blocking Biffle off right now. Biffle can't get around him. And Junior again on the back bumper of the 16. Biffle trying to go high. Barrett on the bottom. Risky to go high there. But that is the only way Biffle was able to get around him. Earnhardt can't get around to the inside of Stanton Barrett either. Some aggressive blocks by these lap cars today. Lap 70 in this race. And it has been wild almost every step of the way. An entertaining Brickyard 400.
Car is outside. Number 43.
Nice easy pass there for Biffle on Fittipaldi. Ooh, big slide going into turn one. Left front started wearing out a little bit more there. Right in the center of the corner. Can alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Ooh, man, hard on the brakes going into turn one. '16 is just so loose on these older tires. And it has allowed Junior over the last couple laps, once he got by Christian Fittipaldi and Stanton Barrett, to reel in Biffle again. Did I see your Brad K comment? Was it about his pit crew? I would have to imagine. I can't remember. I probably did read it, but a couple hours ago, I'd seen a lot of comments on a lot of videos that I've either seen or the one I put out. So I think it was over his pit crew, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Oh, it's on the chat here. I think I see it up there now. Give me a chance to hit a long straightaway, and I'll try to read it. Ooh, man, Biffle almost got the wall off of turn one. Shouldn't have to deal with the lap car this straightaway at least. Oh, yeah. Very eloquent. Expressive speaker. Yeah, yeah, Brad Keselowski, like, I think he is a good ambassador for the sport. I mean, he speaks his opinion a lot. I think a lot of people don't like him more for the Carl Edwards rivalry more than anything else. Outside of that, well, obviously he had some run-ins there with Jeff Gordon, I guess, and Matt Kenseth too. So, I mean, the run-ins earlier on in the last decade are probably what they don't like him for. But him as, like, a person, I think he's a good ambassador for the sport. He carries a lot on his shoulders, both, as a citizen of the U.S. and just his overall, well-being. I don't want to say he's like Kyle Busch, with the way he, I guess, expresses himself, because he seems to be more positive, not really beats himself down as much as what Kyle Busch would, but there's a little bit of contrast there between it. I guess it's kind of hard for me to explain. Yeah, I don't really think Brad's as bad of a person as people say. Don't like him as he is. I don't think he's really that. I mean, he's an aggressive driver, but he's not as aggressive, meaning, you know, I will run you over to win a race kind of way. He doesn't really do that. Like, I can't recall anything within the last 5 years. So, like, back to 2015, 2016, I can't recall anything that, like, he did to rub somebody the wrong way with the way he raced. And he calls people out for their mistakes, too. You know, you saw that with the Super Speedway racing a couple years ago with, like, Stenhouse. I think William Byron he was upset with during the Coke Zero 400 one year, too. That, I mean, he calls people out for their mistakes. He kind of criticizes them, you know, in public, which, you know, people can take the wrong way, obviously, you know. If it were me, I would, you know, go up to the person, you know, if it's like, say, a first-time kind of thing that they're not doing it consistently, I would, you know, hey, you know, this is what you need to do. But I get what he's trying to go for. Yeah, I mean, he's my, I have two grandpas that, you know, kind of have followed auto racing, you know, over the past 4 years. I talked about my one grandpa that that's where I got into racing with, but my other grandpa, his favorite current driver is Brad Keselowski. I think it's the way he carries himself with America more than anything else. You know, just the flat out fact that every time he wins a race, instead of the checker flag, he takes the American flag and does a parade lap. You know, or his victory burnout there. I think the way he carries himself in that aspect is the reason why my grandpa likes him. That, and he was a big Dodge guy, and he won the last championship for Dodge, too, so he kind of, you know, pretty much since around that time has been a fan of his. But yeah, for sure. He's accomplished a lot within the sport, too. He's won a couple Southern 500s. He obviously had that championship back in 2012. Greg Biffle should be able to go an extra lap here on fuel. It's kind of been hit or miss. Seems like Greg Biffle's pulling away. Dale Jr.'s reeling him back in. Then Biffle pulls away, and then he gets reeled back in again. So get to lap 80 here. Now, once Greg Biffle pits this next time, you see some drivers on pit road there, coming out of the pits. More drivers taking the pit road there off of turn 4. This could be just a one pit stop race after this next pit stop that will be coming. Biffle trying to draft off Kenny Wallace, maybe save a little gas down the back straightaway. Drafting's a huge part of Indianapolis. Biffle almost in the wall there in turn 3, slipped way up the racetrack. Biffle gonna stay out one more lap. Halfway home, crossed flags in the air. 80 laps down, another 80 still to go, but to this point we are seeing a pretty good race. These green flag pit stops coming. We'll see if guys like Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch short pitted on Biffle to maybe gain a little track position. Hard on the brakes into turn 3, slid the tires a little bit. Washes back up the track. Biffle has to come to pit road this time. He's got a car underneath him. And he's going to have to let those 2 lap cars go off of turn 4. He's out of fuel off of turn 4. So kind of timed it perfect on coming to pit road. And Dale Jr. was able to run him down after Biffle ran out of gas off of turn 4. He had to pit that time. He knew he was running close on fumes. So Jr. was able to close the gap. He does pit on the same lap as well. Oh no! Big problems there on the Jackman, falling over, going to service the right side of the race car. That's going to cost Biffle on pit road. Remember, going to repair some of that damage as well from that accident at lap 19. Coming out of the pits, Junior is going to win the race off pit road. So Dale Jr. will win the race off pit road under green flag conditions, that is. Quite a ways ahead of Biffle after the problems. The Jackman falling over. Probably the first majorly bad pit stop that Greg Biffle and this 16 team's had all year. I think you look back to the Budweiser shootout at the beginning of the year is really the only other time I can recall a pit road incident. But as far as the points races go, that might be the first time. So a one pit stop race the rest of the way. There's Kenseth Johnson coming out of the pits. Biffle cycles ahead of them easily. I think there's some heavy lap traffic a little bit further up ahead as well. We're catching up now on Kenny Schrader in the 49 lap car. Biffle's had problems with the lap cars all day. Granted, that's mostly been while leading the race, but oh man, Schrader did not give him any room through turn 4. Biffle lost a lot of ground on the race leader there. Still have some guys cycling off of pit road. Trying to close right back up on Schrader again. Looks to his inside, perhaps into turn 2. He is there now. Right as Kenseth was starting to reel him in. Biffle did not clear Schrader off of turn 2, though. Kenseth in the draft of Schrader looks to the outside of his teammate Biffle. Johnson closing in behind as well. Biffle drives it in deep into turn 3. He is desperately trying to get around the 49 car, and he finally does. Lap car of Jeremy Mayfield up here now. Biffle will get around him. Johnson will get around Matt Kenseth now for 6th. Big run to the inside of Greg Biffle. And he is there. Biffle on the outside, kind of just stuck there for now. And Johnson will take over the spot. That bad pit stop for Biffle's team really put him behind the 8 ball. Having a harder time just to try and keep up with this 48. Biffle looking low. Coming up on another lap car, Kenny Wallace in the 23. Biffle trying to get a run in the draft there. Jimmy Johnson so fast down the straightaways. Oh, Wallace maybe tried to pinch 48 of Johnson. Not sure why. Biffle is under him now going into turn 4. Wallace not giving him a lot of room. Biffle still on his inside. Biffle needs to stay right on that left rear corner panel. Try to outbrake Kenny Wallace going into turn 1. Bottom of the track he does. He's able to stay to his inside again. Took him a lot longer to get around Wallace than what it did for Jimmy to get around him. When am I establishing the fantasy league for next year? Pretty much before the start of the season. The fantasy game itself, I think, starts up it starts up right before qualifying because you can predict the qualifier for the 500. So sometime right before Speed Weeks, I'd probably imagine the weekend before, they'll probably have the fantasy live up. So yeah, I'll notify you guys when that comes up. Probably in my preseason predictions video. But there's not going to be a cap limit to how many people can join. So pretty much once the word gets out there that you guys can join the fantasy league, you guys can. I'll have it up and created, available for when the time comes. But nope, no entry list, just whenever you decide to come in, I guess, at that point. Biffle trying to run down Jimmy Johnson again. There is a huge amount of lap traffic right around the race leaders. Dale Jr. still leading. Kurt Busch in second. Jr.'s led the most laps here today up to this point. Thanks for staying late here on a Sunday night. Championship day for the NASCAR Cup Series. I think it's sad, man. As much as I can't wait for 2021, as far as the NASCAR season, really the calendar year as a whole at this point, but it does kind of suck that the season's over now. We got 3 months until the Daytona 500, but man, it's going to be a long 3 months. Meantime, I guess I'll just watch my Green Bay Packers on the weekends. Try to win games as I'll try to watch my Michigan Wolverines try to lose games. So once that comes to an end, then NASCAR will be right there. Ooh, bobble off of turn 2. It looked like Biffle had it saved, and then whoa, wow, what a move by Kenseth outbreaking Biffle into turn 3. So Kenseth just flat out outdrove Biffle. Biffle made that mistake off of turn 2, killed his momentum down the back straightaway. Kenseth kept his momentum up off of turn 2 and ended up just working his way right around Greg Biffle. Junior's had the fastest car today. I think Biffle's a little faster than Kenseth because he hasn't let him get away up to this point at least. Maybe he can get close enough. Look at him trying to angle the corner off a little bit wider. Kenseth to the inside of Hermie Sadler. Biffle not within striking distance to try and get around Kenseth again, so he'll just follow his teammate to get on by Hermie Sadler, and now he's all over the back bumper. And Biffle is there underneath him going into turn 2. Kenseth gives him plenty of room. Knowing Biffle is able to get under him there, now off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Kenseth may beat Biffle back to the gas and clears it. What a move. Johnson held up big time by a lap car. Terry Labonte very slow on the racetrack. I don't know what happened to Terry, and he is holding up Kenseth now. I don't know if he's got a problem or what the case is there, but Johnson got slowed up quite a bit because of it. Biffle got into the back of Johnson, just kind of shoving Jimmy through. Let's get past the 5. Something happened to Terry Labonte. And Tony Stewart all of a sudden was able to get around Matt Kenseth for position. Jimmy trying to block Biffle down to the inside, down the back straightaway. Jimmy's been very aggressive with those blocks all day today. I guess I'm the new NASCAR season. Hey, I'm glad to have that happen. It seemed like that was the case during the COVID break. I got that a lot. Oh, NASCAR was off, and it's like, oh, thank God you have full races on your channel. Biffle just cannot get around Jimmy. Tries to outbrake him into turn 1 again. Getting low. Just can't make the move. Trying to get under him there off of turn 2. He's underneath Jimmy, but he can't get the power down quick enough. Johnson just able to hold him off. I get the NASCAR 2011 beat Carla. Hey, I mean, I will if the fans agree to have that happen. For sure. Oh, boy. Biffle skirted the tires into turn 1. Johnson again with the block going off into turn 2. Biffle's just underneath him again, but can he get the drive off of turn 2? Biffle got a little loose, and again he has to duck in line behind the 48 down the straightaway. It slows you down just a tad bit. If you're faster than the car, then it won't really make much of a difference. But if you're even like these two cars are right here, the 16 and the 48, it does make a difference trying to make the pass. It kind of kills your momentum a little bit. Like, you're able to keep the momentum, but it does kill it slightly. It's just not working out for him. Looking underneath, Johnson trying to block again, but Biffle in the gas. He is doing everything he can. Hard on the braking zone into turn 3. Definitely getting held up by the 48. How much more patient is he going to get? We are getting later and later into the race, and again, Biffle trying to win his first career crown jewel race. Johnson went high into turn 1. Biffle to the inside. Finally, he's there. But now, can he make the pass into turn 2? Johnson gives him the room now that he's underneath him. And Biffle is up to 3rd. And it has just been a really, really fun race. Oh, Biffle slides the tires into turn 3. Johnson back to the inside again. Oh, contact off of turn 3. And Johnson again to the lead. Should say not to the lead, but up to 3rd as he gets again ahead of Biffle. Live traffic has really slowed down the top 2. Because even with Biffle and Johnson aggressively battling hard for 3rd, they are now less than 3 seconds back. Biffle to the inside of Johnson into turn 2. does Biffle have to do to make the move? Drives it in hard. He almost got under him. But Johnson drove it in hard too on the top. Biffle trying to get there. Just can't do it. Can he outdrive him into turn one? He's there. And clear, barely off of turn one. It's a great battle for third while it lasted. Kurt Busch being held up in the lap traffic now. Biffle and Johnson have reeled him in for second. Biffle in the draft down the back straightaway. Biffle's driving it hard. Look at him just sliding the tires into turn three. Junior's got about a 2-second lead. Busch struggling in the lap traffic. Meanwhile, now he's going to get underneath the lap car, looks like. Biffle maybe just trying to follow him through there, and actually Kurt Busch pulled away from Biffle. Oh, man. Biffle drives it in deep into turn three. Contact. Jeremy Mayfield right in front of him. Mayfield trying to get around Casey Mears as they battle for position, but Biffle being held up now. Now they're side by side right in front of him. Looking in the bottom off of turn number 4. All the way to the inside. Back up the track, barely clearing Casey Mears. Mayfield back to the inside of Kurt Busch. Biffle going to follow Mayfield now to get around Kurt. Biffle to the inside of Mayfield, and up to second place goes Greg Biffle. Ooh, contact with Mayfield loose off of turn 2. What a save from the 16 of Biffle. A big-time save as he tried to clear the 19 of Mayfield. He couldn't quite do it. Not cleanly, at least. Stays in front into turn 3, trying to pull away from Kurt Busch now and try to run down the race leader, Dale Jr. There's Terry Labonte again. Checking these guys up. Terry very slow on the track. I don't know what has happened to him. It's like he's lost a cylinder or something. Second time now he's been slow while the leaders try to pass him. That checked up Mayfield, and Mayfield got ran into from behind from Biffle in the process of it. Again, a wild, fun, crazy race today at the Brickyard. Ooh, Biffle slid the tires a little too much there in turn 3 again, but he's doing what he can. He's trying to run down Dale Jr. Hopefully before the final pit stop of the race, he can get to the lead for his sake. Again, these guys will be pitting right about 40 laps to go in the race. Got 57 laps to go currently, as we are likely only one pit stop away from the finish. Barring cautions, of course. Biffle in the wall. He tagged it off of turn 4. Lost a little ground to Dale Jr. again. Kurt Busch has reeled him back in now. Jimmy Johnson right behind Kurt Busch as well. He'll start to slide a little bit wider now. Those tires are really wearing out on him. More lap traffic not too far ahead of Dale Jr. Biffle down to the bottom, trying to break the draft on Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson. Biffle went wide there in turn 3. Kurt Busch wasn't quite close enough, though, to try to take advantage of it. Biffle ran really well through turn 4. It's back to the gas wells also. Johnson trying to get around Kurt Busch. He's all over his back bumper, so we'll see if Jimmy might be able to move up to 3rd place. Again, a lot of give and take between Biffle and Junior, just like it was earlier. Do I have a favorite song? I do, but I look more so with like bands that I like in general. I'm a pretty big, pretty big metal guy. I'll listen to rock music a lot. I listen to like a lot of like growing up, like a lot of like 80s hair bands and stuff. That's just what my parents listened to. We got another blowing engine on the racetrack. 30, Steve Park. Park is blowing an engine on the access road in 3 and 4, and his day will come to an end. But Metallica is my favorite band. But they were one of my favorite bands, and then when I saw them in person back in 2016, I believe it was now, in Detroit, Comerica Park, it was awesome. Blew me away. My favorite band of all time since that day. So I guess my favorite song from them would be One. But really that whole Injustice for All album, the album as a whole is my favorite. I could listen to it on repeat once a day. If I had to. Like if I was forced to listen to one album every day for the rest of my life, that would be the album. Jack Sprague almost blocking Biffle into the inside retaining wall. Did you guys see how close that was? My goodness. Sprague has been a tough out today. Kind of pinching Biffle there, almost into the barrier at the front of the pit entrance on the front stretch. Biffle's trying to run down Dale Jr. He does not need that. Of course, Chase Montgomery right there with Sprague like they were earlier back in the first half of the race. Man, that's a huge slide from Biffle. It's tough to tell if he's really gaining much on Dale Jr. I think he's gaining some. Still got about 12 more laps until green flag stops. Remember, him and Jr. did it the first time. And remember that Jr. is in the lead and beat Biffle off of pit road because Biffle had a slow pit stop. Pit crew costed Biffle the lead. And Biffle came onto pit road with the lead. He had about a 1.5 second advantage on Jr. Jackman fell over trying to service the right side tires, and that costed the 16 team. Just one more pit stop left to go. Can't afford to have that happen again. And Biffle's driving as hard as he can right now, trying to catch the 8. Still a lap car in between them, too. Here's Stanton Barrett in the 60. Lap cars have been tough to pass all day for the 16 of Biffle, but he'll be looking on Stanton Barrett now down the front straightaway to try and make a move on him. Easily gets to his inside. Barrett cuts him a little bit of slack into turn 1. And now no lap cars between the top 2 of the 8 and the 16. Dale Jr. has not won a race yet this season, but he is in the top 10 of the point standings. We'll see if he can get his first win here, and of course went his entire career not winning the Brickyard 400. Another one of those crown jewels that eluded Junior throughout his career. His father won here back in 1995. In the second ever race at this track. And Junior trying to do it here today. But Biffle has been slowly catching him. Junior widened out his angle into turn 2. Biffle, I think, has just got a faster car at this point in the run. Looks all the way to the inside. Junior couldn't block it. He attempted to, but he couldn't quite get there. And they are side by side for the lead into turn 3. Biffle on the bottom gets really loose. Trying to stay underneath the 8. Still side by side into turn 4. And Greg Biffle will clear him for the lead off of turn 4. Biffle loose. Hanging on to it, staying into the gas. And Greg Biffle now leads with 49 laps to go in the in the Brickyard 400. Almost like the Coke Zero 400. A loose moment there, quickly getting around Terry Labonte, a much slower car. And Junior almost able to get back to the inside of Biffle to cross him over. But yes, the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a run it has been for the 16 team here today. Junior's led the most up to this point. I don't know if he's locked up leading the most laps led or not, but he's led the most up to this point. Biffle's led about 20 to 30 laps. Johnson's looked fast at times. Johnson had a slower pit stop too under the last stop. Junior's still fighting. Oh, caution! Caution's out for the second time today as they cross the stripe. Wow. I'm not sure what happened there with Ryan Newman in the 12. I don't know if he had a tire. He might have had a tire go down. Looked like a right front tire might have went out on Ryan Newman's car, so the caution will fly. And Biffle's going to stay out of the pits here. They are not within the pit window to make it to the end. Terry Labonte was the only driver to hit pit road. He was already multiple laps down. So second caution of the race comes out with just less than 50 to go. Lap cars to the inside. Lead lap cars to the outside. Green flag back in the air. Just 45 laps remain, and Biffle did not take off on the restart. Lap cars are getting around him quickly. He's still on the top, but so is Junior. Man, that was treacherous going into turn 1, side by side with Biffle on the outside. He's trying to hold on to the race car. Mears slides up right in front of him. Junior almost got underneath him there. Biffle trying to get around Mears. Mears is blocking. Junior, Johnson, side by side for second. Biffle drifts up the track in turn 3. Casey Mears trying to block him. Biffle just to the outside, trying to use him as a pick. Robbie Gordon slides up the track now. 3 wide up the middle. Tight squeeze. Biffle with contact was able to make it through. Had to muscle his way in there. 44 to go and still leads. Nobody of the lead lap cars pitted there. We are near the pit window to make it to the end, but we weren't quite at the point. So that is why nobody pitted. They wanted to keep their track position. Track position, the name of the game at this racetrack. Junior now has to get by Jeremy Mayfield, who's got the cleanest air on the track. Mayfield already 1 lap down, trying not to go 2 laps down. But the leaders are racing for a crown jewel win underneath him. And Biffle will get on by into turn 4 now. About a 1.1 second lead for the 16. Really loose into turn 1 again. Those tires are really worn out. That caution was able to help these guys save maybe a little bit more fuel as well with them staying out to easily make it a one-stop race, because it was looking close there for a little bit. Like some guys might not have been able to make it, but now I think we're at that point where everybody should be able to make it. Back in 2003, no such thing as overtime or running past the scheduled distance of a race. So once we have enough fuel to get through lap 160, we are good to the end no matter what. The same goes obviously for everybody. With Biffle leading the Brickyard 400 here late. About to head into the final pit stops of the race. Couple cars just now coming out of the pits, so trying to short pit perhaps on the field. Oh man, big loose moment into turn 1 there for the 16 of Biffle. Hangs on to it though. Not quite going to catch those lap cars, still trying to get up to speed either, so doesn't have to worry about them. Still got some clean air. Biffle and his team can't afford to have a mistake this time on pit road. 40 laps to go in the race now. 2.8 second lead for Biffle. Don't think Junior pitted that last time. Biffle obviously still on the track as well. Trying to get as many laps left as possible before he hits pit road as well. Never know if he might have a shot to lead the most laps. Junior hasn't clinched it yet, but that 16 crew is going to have to definitely come out of the pits. Quite a ways ahead of Junior. Big wiggle going into turn 3. 16 of Biffle just washed way up the racetrack. .39 to go. 3.3 second lead at the line. Kevin LePage on those fresher tires has been trying to get around Biffle. 40 lap older tires. Greg Biffle will hit pit road this time by. They'll give him 38 laps left when he comes out of the pits. Easily should be able to make it on fuel to the end. Gone 38 to 40 laps, or I should say about 39 to 41 laps is about the pit window. So these guys, again, should be able to make it to the end. Biffle's going to pit here off of turn number 4. Another green flag stop. 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. This is the money stop for the 16 team. They can't have a mistake like they did on the last one. Team's got to be a little nervous after that last mishap with the Jackman. On the right sides, making it quick here. Now over to the lefts. Junior had a quick pit stop. Oh, and another mistake by the Jackman. A little slow on the left side, getting there. 19, 20. 20 seconds, and again Junior wins the race off pit road for the second stop in a row. The 16 team has costed themselves on pit road during green flag stops when it matters more than what it does under caution. And now look at these lap cars as well in between the 8 and the 16. That is such a tough break. Can't afford to have that happen in a big race like this. A crown jewel event. And Dale Jr. is coming out at least a couple seconds ahead of Biffle after that slow stop at the 16 again. And for the second straight time, he's the Jackman. Unfortunately for him, he has costed Biffle on both of those 2 bad pit stops that he has had today. There's Matt Kenseth. A full cycle ahead of him. But he was quite a ways ahead of Kenseth, and Kenseth is right behind him now, so Biffle's going to have to run down Junior as best as he can to the end of this race. And it is not going to be easy. We'll have to see if we stay green to the end of it as well. Biffle having a hard time trying to get around Ricky Craven now to his inside. Off of turn 3, into turn 4. Has a decent run, maybe cut the corner a little too much, and he can't clear Ricky Craven. Oh, Junior's caught up in heavy lap traffic, though, it looks like, up ahead. And that's because of Terry Labonte. Biffle able to get around Craven. A little mishap there off of turn 1. Kenseth able to close back to the back bumper of Biffle again. I mean, that's just the factor of it all. Will he have enough time to get there? So the rest of the cars that have not yet pitted are going to be coming to pit road now. I'm surprised they were able to take it as far as they have, honestly. 35 laps left in this race. We'll try to get around Robbie Gordon, but Gordon blocking off here. Robbie Gordon was getting blocked meanwhile as well by Jeremy Mayfield. Mayfield might be coming to pit road. No, just had that low entry to the corner, just trying to protect both the 16 and the 31. But wants to stay to the inside of Robbie Gordon, drives it hard into turn 1. Try not to let Robbie Gordon get away. Oh, contact. Well, contact him with Robbie Gordon, and now Biffle underneath of Jeremy Mayfield, the next lap car. Kenseth caught behind Gordon. Biffle could not get around Mayfield there. Into turn 4, again it's Mayfield just hugging the inside. And Biffle again in the wall off of turn 4. All the way to the bottom there, trying to block Matt Kenseth. Back to the top. Got to hold on for every position you can at this point in the race. You never know if you're going to get it back. Still have drivers that stayed out of the pits. And all that ground Biffle lost to Mayfield, he's got to gain it right back. Slide there in turn 3. Mayfield ran a little off the bottom. Biffle gains a little bit of ground in turn 4 again. Mayfield's slower as it is, but he is not making it easy for the 16 car to get around him. Into turn 1. Looks way to the bottom of the track. Hugging that curving. Into turn 2. Will he clear him? Yes, he does. Biffle will clear the 19 car with a little slide job there off of turn 2 now. And great to see here out of the 16 car, but now he overdrives turn 3. And with that, Matt Kenseth is going to get on by. But Biffle trying to cross Kenseth back over now to his inside through turn 4. And after giving up the spot, it is Matt Kenseth now trying to drive away from Biffle. Just 30 laps to go this time by in the Brickyard 400. Biffle just trying to hang on. Wait for the race car to come in, but is it taking too long? Kenseth now is just starting to slowly pull away from him. Biffle really trying to stay in Kenseth's draft down these straightaways, these long straightaways here at Indy. He's not able to really gain a whole lot of ground off of it. Kenseth didn't go low to try and break the draft that time either. Had a big slide of the tires that time, despite Biffle going hard on the brakes. Actually gained time in turn 3 by doing it. Now into turn 4, hugging the curbing again. Trying to stay in the draft. Down the long front straightaway. Biffle and Kenseth teammates here, but when it comes to trying to win this big race in both of these young drivers' careers, at least in the season 2003, there's a lot on the line. Remember, Kenseth won the 2003 championship in real life. Kenseth, maybe a little wider entry into turn 2 than what he wanted. Biffle gains just a slight bit more time. Not quite close enough to get within striking distance to maybe make a pass, but he has definitely closed the gap. Trying to trap Kenseth down these long straightaways. Try not to let him pull back away from him. Trying to stay within reach. Oh, he is underneath Kenseth now through turn number 2. Lower than these guys, and just like that, Kenseth is used as a pick behind Labonte. He had to check up. Biffle is up to 5th. Great work to get around his teammate cleanly and now pull away from him quickly as well. A lot of clean air now ahead of Biffle. Trying to run down the next competitor. So we get later and later into the race. Just 26 laps to go now. Dale Jarrett currently sitting in 3rd. Dale Jr. is actually in 4th. Not sure who's all ahead of Dale Jr. The race leader, I'm not sure who it is, but they are quite a ways ahead, and I'm not sure how they are that far ahead of drivers like the 8 and the 16. I don't think under that second caution that they pit. Again, that second caution came out right about lap 114. I thought Terry Labonte was the only driver to hit pit road during that caution that is able to make it to the end. Or he might even have to pit one more time. I'm not entirely sure. Biffle goes low, trying to break the draft perhaps. He did not get through turn 4 really well at all, and Kenseth was able to run him back down quickly. Biffle ran really wide there through turn 4. Kenseth able to run him down a little bit again. 24 to go now. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race.
Number 17 is looking wide.
Wow, Kenseth actually looking high there. Oh, and Biffle gets into the wall. I don't think that was the wisest move by Kenseth to look high, but Biffle made the mistake off of turn 2 anyway. And perhaps block Kenseth to the inside here. Just trying to keep Matt Kenseth behind him. Biffle slides the tires into turn 3. And Matt Kenseth still there into turn 4. Biffle's going to have to let him go. And a little mistake again there by Biffle off of turn 4. That didn't help anything at all either. Losing that spot on the racetrack again as we get later and later into the race. Oh wow, he hit turn 1 perfectly though. Trying to run the 17 back down. Biffle drove it hard into turn 1, right behind his teammate once more. Shoots the gap underneath him going into turn 2. Kenseth gave him a little bit of room again. His two teammates racing each other clean, but they are racing each other hard in the latter stage of the race. Still side by side, and now Kenseth is clear going off into turn 3. Biffle overruns the corner, loses a little bit of ground to his teammate again. He might have actually beat Kenseth back to the gas despite overrunning the corner a little bit. Kenseth runs a little bit off the bottom there through turn 4. Biffle gets a good run on the exit. Right behind him again. Oh, Kenseth goes high. Kenseth just completely missed turn 1. Biffle is under him now. Into turn 2. Side by side, Biffle clear off of turn 2 to move back up into 5th. Trying to break the draft on the bottom. Not going to mess up turn 3 this time to give Kenseth another chance to maybe get back alongside of him or get around him. Good corner through turn 4 as well for Biffle, trying to pull back away from him again. Oh, and another mistake, though. Car just kind of washed up the track off of turn 4. It seemed like he hit the center of the corner pretty well. Still just a mistake, though, on corner exit. It's about 4 seconds behind Dale Jr. The only thing I can think of is those drivers that pitted under there was drivers that pitted under the caution that are trying to make this a fuel mileage race, that are racing right around Dale Jr., if not far ahead of him right now. Because otherwise, I don't know how they got up here. Granted, that caution bunched everybody back together, so maybe Dale Jarrett, for instance, who is barely ahead of Dale Jr., had a quick enough pit stop, and he's just been able to hold Dale Jr. off this whole time. And Jr.'s not been able to get around him for position. That is also possible. Our two cautions today, lap 19 and lap 114, are the two cautions. Vicious hard accident on the front stretch at lap 19. Jeff Gordon blew an engine right in front of Ward Burton, Greg Biffle. They couldn't get out of the way. Biffle ran into the back of Gordon and into the side of Ward Burton. Biffle made it through the accident with some pretty heavy damage that he luckily was able to repair. Without anything really major going on. Able to stay in the race, of course, ended up fighting back to the lead and sitting currently in 5th. Less than 20 laps to go. Caution number 2. Driver who came into this race second in points. No wins on the year, but solid, consistent season for the most part up to this point. Ryan Newman blew a right front tire in turn 2, bringing out that second caution. Slower car here, Terry Labonte on the outside. Biffle will duck low. He'll easily get around him. Biffle awkward angle into turn 1 after getting around Labonte towards the end of the front straightaway. Biffle just doing what he can to try and get to the lead. Again, thanks for staying with me here late night on a Sunday night nonetheless for the Brickyard 400. Just 10 gallons of fuel remains as well for the 16 of Biffle. Should be able to make it to the end. It'll be a 38-lap fuel run to the end from when they last pitted. And from when we last went green, it'd be a 44-lap green flag run if we don't get another caution. Tough to tell, though, for Biffle if he is racing Junior for the win or if he's racing those other guys. So that's why he's got to push it hard to the very end. He might not be able to catch up to those guys, but if they can't make it on fuel that are a little bit further out ahead, that could definitely be interesting. And honestly, with Ryan Newman blowing a tire, if he didn't hit pit road under the... Well, I would have to assume he did pit under the caution with the blown right front. Unless that knocked him out of the race, which I guess is possible, but I don't think it knocked him out of the race. And he could actually be in the lead. I'm not sure how that worked out for him. I'm assuming he was on the lead lap. I don't remember him going a lap down beforehand. So not knowing who the leader is just kind of makes it even more intriguing. If we can get up to 3rd place, we'll be able to find out who that is. So if we can get around Dale Jr. at some point before the end of this, we at least know who the top 2 would be from that point on. And Johnson's had a fast car today. I would not be surprised if he had cycled himself into 2nd place. Junior's just been stuck behind Dale Jarrett, too, this whole time. He just has not been close enough to try and make that move, to make a pass for position. I mean, Biffle's just been absolutely hitting his marks the last handful of laps. He is running about as clean of lap times as he has all race long. And no mistakes to go along with it. He tries to run down these leaders. Oh, now he's making a move. Dale Jr. to the inside of Dale Jarrett. Kind of got cut off, though, going into turn 4. Jr.'s just trying to make a move. Looks slow again down the front straightaway. Jarrett gives him the bottom. Just 12 laps to go. We'll stick with this far chase cam now for the rest of the race. Things have really heated up. Not knowing who can or can't make it on fuel to the end. But Jarrett has been holding up Dale Jr. for a very long time, and now it has allowed Greg Biffle to catch both of them. Biffle's car is coming alive in the late going of the run. And again, Jr. could have had more of a gap. Now he looks high off of turn 4. Jarrett went high to block. Jr. to the bottom. Biffle willing to follow Dale Jr., but Jr. doesn't go low again on Jarrett. Biffle trying to back off early into turn 1. He makes his move on Jr., who gets tight off of turn 2. Shoots the gap to the inside into turn 2 on Dale Jarrett now for 3rd. And it's a drag race down the back. Dale Jr. though drafting with Dale Jarrett. Biffle doesn't have the drafting help, has to fall in line. He's still able to hold on in front of Dale Jr., but he was not able to get around Dale Jarrett. Now Biffle swings a little bit higher, works his way back to the inside of the 88 into turn number 4. My goodness, look at how much Dale Jarrett tried to crowd the 16 of Biffle. Biffle is there and clear down the front straightaway. Up to 3rd, 10 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Ryan Newman is the race leader. After blowing a right front tire, Newman leads this race. But can he make it on fuel to the end? He's got a large lead. He could save as much as he needs. Biffle trying to run down Johnson for 2nd. Johnson ran a little bit off the bottom in turn 3. Biffle gets there. A little bit of a mistake by Johnson. Opens the door. Trying to crowd Biffle, but Biffle's clear. Off of turn 4. Biffle up to 2nd now. Trying to hope Ryan Newman cannot make it on fuel to the end of the race. 9 laps to go. Ryan Newman trying to win the Brickyard 400. Does he have enough fuel? Will we stay green? As big of a lead as Newman's got right now. Oh man, big drifting action through turn 3. And Biffle get around Terry Labonte easily. Biffle's low on fuel now too. Burned a lot over the course of this run. 8 to go this time by. It's 25 seconds off the lead. He is not going to catch Newman unless Newman just flat out runs out of gas. No matter how thick the lap traffic may be or how much Newman is saving, he's going to have to run out for Biffle to catch him. But then the tables turn to if Greg Biffle has enough fuel to the end of the race. Because it could be close. See down the back straightaways, going down to the inside of the racetrack, just trying to take the shortest way around as possible. Knowing he can't catch Newman, best case scenario, he's just got to hold on to 2nd place. To the inside again. Back up so he can angle into the corner now. He was a full 2nd faster than Newman that last lap. That goes to show how much Newman's saving Biffle with another big slide in turn 1. He almost spun out that time. That was probably as close to spinning out as we've seen Biffle today. That was a long drift, and he almost didn't save it. That's the last thing he needs is to spin. Remember, you have to race back to the caution flag, so he spins. It's not like Biffle gets to hold his position. He's going to have to race back. hasn't pulled that far ahead of Johnson to where if he spins, he's likely going to lose at least a few positions. So even though those tires are worn out, he's got to make it to the end. Even with that big slide in turn 1, he was still a tenth of a second faster than Newman. Yeah, Johnson about 3.5 to 4 seconds back of Biffle. Newman! Is he pitting? He is. Ryan Newman is out of gas. Will it be a fuel-only stop to try and make it to the end? And if it is, will that give Greg Biffle the race lead? As they come to 5 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Him leading those laps, though, might have been able to just barely give Dale Jr. the most laps led and give Jr. an extra 5 bonus points instead of Biffle. Biffle backing it way off into turn 1 there. As now he's got the 3 to 3.5 second lead on Johnson. And does Greg Biffle have enough fuel to the end of the race? All the way on the inside, down the back straightaway. It is a fuel mileage race in the Brickyard 400. Didn't think we were going to see it with that last caution, but I guess we will. I mean, the 16, that is insane if he only goes 38 laps on this full fuel run. Oh, he almost spins in turn 4. Big slide. It'll be an official lead change at the line. Newman did not lead. Newman led the last lap. Not way too much in the corners. His tires are shot right now. Biffle's tires are shot. And Johnson's trying to run him down to win the race. Not a bad corner that time for Biffle. Biffle doesn't have a big enough of a lead that he can afford to sputter across the line. This is not a very comfortable situation for the 16. 3 laps to go. Backing off turn 1 a little bit more. Biffle trying to get his 5th win of the young season. What is just the 9th race of the year. It'll be 2 to go this time by, but 2 laps at Indianapolis is a long time. There's about 5 miles, and Biffle slides even more in turn 4. Two to go. 2.6 second lead. He opened the gap about 0.3 of a second that last lap on Johnson. Big slide in turn 1. Remember, he was about 4 seconds ahead of Jimmy at one point. Another big slide off in turn 2. Trying to draft off Stanton Barrett now in the short chute of 3 and 4. And he is trying to do everything he can. Drafting him now off of turn 4. Looks to put him another lap down. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go in the Brickyard 400 for Greg Biffle. He should have enough fuel to the end. Now that he's made it this far, we haven't gotten the... Oh, man, big slide in turn 1 again there. He stays in front of Stanton Barrett. Now into turn 2. Yeah, he should make it. Going to the inside. Breaking the draft just to make sure. Shortest way around the track, but Biffle should have enough fuel to the end. He's going to be on fumes when he crosses the finish line. Oh, man, another big slide in turn 3, but he'll be on fumes coming to the start-finish line, but he will make it to the end. First career crown jewel victory for Greg Biffle. He will win the Brickyard 400. 5th win of the season for the Biff, cutting back into the points deficit. What a win for the 16 team. They might very well run out of fuel in the victory celebration. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran out of fuel in the victory celebration. He shouldn't have much left. Well, that's if the engine even makes it long enough, too, for the... Yeah, the engine blew out before he ran out of gas, but he did not have much fuel left. He might have been able to make it one more lap.
Yeah, how about that? They were battling for that top spot as soon as the green flag.
What a win. Haiti, welcome to the stream right at the end there. So Greg Biffle with his first career win as far as the Crown Jewel events go. And it comes on the Brickyard 400 here tonight. Awesome race. One of the better races of the season. Came down to a fuel mileage win. Newman running out of gas, coming to 5 laps to go. Could not make it to the end. And Greg Biffle gets the victory. We'll take a look at the finishing results for today's race. See right there, Dale Jr. led the most laps here today by 23 laps over Biffle. So yes, Newman leading those laps for a while definitely helped Jr. clinch it as well. Jr. just flat out had the best car here tonight, but Biffle late in the run was able to take the lead both on the second to last run and the final run of the race as well on the same strategy. So Biffle with the win. Jimmy Johnson finished in second. He led laps. Tony Stewart led 1 lap today during the cycling of green flag pit stops, enough to get him 5 bonus points, and he rallied to finish third. A quiet but solid day there. Dale Jarrett snuck in with a top 5 in the late going. He was virtually non-existent all race, but he got a top 5 finishing 4th. Dale Jr. fell back to 5th at the end of the race. Unfortunate for him. Kevin Harvick finished in 6th, followed by Kens at 7th. Kurt Busch 8th, Jeff Burton 9th, and Bobby Labonte rounds out the top 10. Also, Harvick led some laps today on pit strategy as well. Ryan Newman led 34 laps there towards the end of the race, so he led the 3rd most laps all at the end there. And despite running out of gas, coming to 5 to go, he still gas to go only to get back out there, still finished in 12th place. So it was worth the risk of strategy there to get the win. That is for sure. And we'll take a look at who all DNF'd in today's race as well. Jeff Gordon in that major accident. It looks like back at lap 18 instead of lap 19. But major accident there on the front stretch. Elliott Sadler DNF'd as well. Steve Park blew an engine. Mark Martin with another DNF. His 3rd DNF in the first 9 races of the season. Martin was in the top 10 in points. Still coming into the night despite the fact he was DNF'd twice coming in. And 3 DNFs now. This is definitely hurting him early in the season. Terry Labonte. He ended up crashing out, I believe, earlier. If not, he blew an engine. He was definitely down a cylinder, but he was kind of just logging laps, trying to pass a couple of guys, and him being able to log those laps helped him pass Steve Park and Mark Martin in the finishing order, so it does work out there. That was an extra 9 points Terry Labonte wouldn't have had, so you definitely have to understand why he came back out on the track there. It worked out for him. Stanton Barrett was actually on track at the end of the race as well, but really slow. But it looks like he was 3 laps down at the end, actually. So I guess he stayed on the track all night. So we had 4 DNFs, and Terry Labonte was able to log laps there at the end of the race under a slow pace. So Greg Biffle, 5 wins on the season already. We'll take a look at the points before we get out of here tonight. So a Brickyard 400, and man, it's going to be tough to survive the next race. So it's a good job. Greg Biffle got the win here. Martinsville's the next one. That is going to be crazy. So first, the upcoming schedule, in fact. 10th race of the season, as you guys saw right there, will be at Martinsville. Then we got the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. A Daytona doubleheader. We go road course racing at Daytona after the Pepsi 400. Dover, Pocono, the next 5 races. The point standings look like this. Ricky Rudd holds on to a narrow points lead over Ryan Newman, just 19 points ahead. Tony Stewart just 20 points back in third with the top 5. Top 5 for Dale Jr., now within 23. The win by Greg Biffle moves him from 6th to 5th in the standings, so he gained 1 spot. He is now only 89 back. 103 back to Harvick, who gained some spots with the top 10 there. Dale Jarrett with the top 5 gained some points. He was already in the top 10, but I believe he gained 1 spot. He was 8th going in. Michael Waltrip 204 back. So the top 7 are all within 1 race of each other still. Granted, 9 races into the season, but that's a quarter of the way through the season, and the top 7 are all within 1 race. So that is pretty crazy. And you look at Mark Martin, who has DNF 3 times this year, was in the top 8. And he, was in the top 10 a couple races ago. But man, that's tough. 3 DNFs this season, but not only that, 3 DNFs in the last 5 races drops him back to 23rd. That is unfortunate. Remember, he does have a win this season, too. So that is going to be it here tonight for this one. Thanks for staying up late with me for this race. Of course, again, we ran a later start time because of the championship race earlier and had to get that post-race analysis video out and get something to eat before we got going here tonight. So thanks for everybody staying late. Much earlier start time tomorrow. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the start time for tomorrow's stream. NASCAR Thunder 2004 action will be in the process. The Virginia 500 at Martinsville. It will be chaotic. We will be lucky to get to the end of the race, I'm sure. There might be some carnage, some ruffled feathers, so it might be a fun watch. But thanks, everybody, for watching here tonight. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We do these full race live streams with the realistic broadcast on the daily, and in hopes to one day broadcast in my broadcasting career. And hit the like button if you enjoyed the race commentary, the video in general. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your night.